Hello and welcome back to the MLB DFS slate breakdown for July 29th, Tuesday. I'm your host, Tyler Wiemann, and we're going to be breaking it down. We got a nice big slate to go over today. Come join us at LineStar. We do have a 7-day free trial through the app stores, Android or iOS. You can get 7 free days. Now let's dive in and let's check it out here. We got a beautiful little slate to go over. And we will start off with the perfect lineups from yesterday. Then we'll jump into the winning lineups from yesterday, the picks for today, pitchers and hitters. Yesterday's, we got Yamamoto and Framber Valdez. I did say that it's probably a day where the pay-up pitching goes, or is the way to go. What happened yesterday, we had like 5 or 6 kind of pay-up options that were all in okay spots, and Yamamoto, Framber went nuts. So they're in the lineup. We got a 2-man Brave stack and then all one-offs. The Seattle and Oakland game yesterday was a bit of a disappointment, but several spots made it happen. The winning lineup went to Boot Camp Fan and Beaker, who both tied at 189.5. Framber, Palante, they had a 5-man Seattle stack, 5-man Atlanta, 3-man Seattle. And Beaker, they were a little different. They had Burns and Valdez had a 5-man Atlanta stack, a 2-man San Francisco with a one-off of Montgomery. Congrats to both of them. It's kind of a bummer when you have 2 different lineups in split. I mean, it's better than one of you guys getting second and one winning, I guess, but congrats to both. You guys won $35K. Now, let's get into the slate on FanDuel and see what we got here. And our perfect lineup, we got Framber Valdez. We got a 2-man Braves and all one-offs after that. 308.1, almost all the salary. Winning lineup went to G. Nicholas. They had Yamamoto. They had a Cardinals stack and a Braves stack. The old 4-4 got it done, 231.8. Congrats to them. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of the show, which is the good old picks for today. All right, 12-man slate, or 12-game slate, 4:05 start time on the Pacific Coast, 7:05 on the East Coast for you guys. We got an interesting slate. No real weather concerns today, which is nice. Best hitting weather is Seattle and Oakland on this slate, but there is some nice hitting weather in other spots as well. New York, Cincinnati, KC. It's warm all over the place. Let's get into the picks. Highest owned pitcher, Tyler Glasnow, 9,200, 22% owned versus the Reds. Look, Reds can hit righties, but Glasnow is insanely good. 3.4 FIP over his last 20, 3.27 over his last 5. Low 30s K rate. StatCast data looks great. He does give up a lot of fly balls, and it's Great American Small Park, so there is a little bit elevated chance of a home run, but 16% hard contact rate. People just aren't hitting him hard, and so that definitely lessens the chance of a home run. I'm fine getting a little Glasnow. I think he's clearly one of the better options. I'm going to have a lot of him. Next, Jesus Luzardo, 9.5K, 20% owned versus the White Sox. White Sox have been good versus lefties. They got to Christopher Sanchez a little bit yesterday. Can definitely get to Luzardo. Luzardo does have the upside and is cheap enough that I'm definitely going to consider him, though. He has, 5 games of 30 plus, has another 29 thrown in there. And we got a 3.12 FIP over his last 20 with a 26% K rate. Over the last 5, it's 3.9, a 30% K rate. The upside is there to warrant some. He's better away, 24.7% more fantasy points away. The only issue here is the White Sox have just been hitting lately. Over the last 20 games, 291 average, 279 ISO, 383 WOBA versus lefties. It's not a comfy spot for Luzardo, even versus the White Sox. So, if I get a little bit of him, fine. But I do think I'm going to be underweight on 20%. Next, we got Lucas Giolito, 7,800. He is better away, 77% more fantasy points away. But he is still boom bust regardless of where he is at. And I have a hard time going with him in a spot that he's going to be high owned versus a team that hits the ball hard when he allows a lot of hard contact, a lot of line drives, a lot of barrel balls. It just generally doesn't play well for a good offense that puts the bat on the ball and hits it hard. So at this type ownership, I'm going to also come underweight on Giolito. Now, if ownership throughout the day changes and he is low owned, then I'm going to have some of him. It's just a game theory play here. The ceiling is too big in this spot. Minnesota does strike out 25.5% over or versus righties over the last 20. The splits, 31% K rate with the splits. There's upside in this matchup. I'm absolutely going to have some if ownership changes throughout the day and he comes in low owned. At high ownership, not going to have a ton. I might have a little bit, but not going to have very much. Next, Max Fried, 10K, 19% owned versus the Rays. Look, we do have nice hitting weather in New York today. It's like low or mid 90s. Winds are slightly blowing out, but Max Fried has been very, very good all season long. 3.12 FIP over his last 20, 23% K rate. Over the last 5, FIP before and a 16% K rate. His StatCast data is great. Splits are great. He's done well versus the Rays. I'm absolutely fine getting into some Fried. I think he's one of the safer options, and he still has some big-time upside. Next, we got Yusei Kikuchi, 8K, 18% owned versus the Rangers. The Rangers do have some problems versus lefties. So I'm absolutely in on some Kikuchi. Now, he is not pitching as well as he was, say, for the month of June, but the upside is still there. He has a FIP of 4 over the last 20 with a 24% K rate. Over the last 5, 4.69 and a 24% K rate. StatCast data isn't all that great. Giving up some hard contact, giving up some barrel balls. This Rangers team also has been hitting well, but he is averaging 29% more fantasy points at home. There's a lot of give and take in this matchup. I think his ownership is adequate. I'm going to get to some due to, the splits versus lefties for these Rangers. All in all, I don't love the matchup, but I do think Kikuchi is underpriced for what he can do, so I don't mind getting some. Sonny Gray, 9.7K, 14% owned, 17.64 point projection, consensus at 17. He's too good of a pitcher going kind of low owned for me not to get a little bit. The ceiling is there, but Miami Marlins been hitting well, and for that reason, I'm not, totally in love with the play, but we do have a 7.5 game total. I'm fine getting to some. Now, let's get to some pivots. Michael Soroka, 7.6K, only 11% owned versus the Astros. 3.86 FIP or 81 FIP over the last 20 and a 27% K rate. Over the last 5, 3.06 and 23% K rate. He does give too many fly balls away, but only 34% hard contact, not a ton of barrel balls, less than 10% batted ball, barrel ball rate. So I'm fine getting some Soroka. I think there is upside in this matchup. Astros striking out almost 23% versus righties. At 7,600, I'll get some. I'm not going to go overboard. This Astros team is hitting well. They do at least they are at least without Paredes, which definitely helps. I'm going to have some Soroka, not going to go overboard, but I think he's an interesting spot. Next, we got Seth Lugo versus the Braves. This is one of the higher game totals of the day. Royals, minus 131 favorites. Lugo is a very solid pitcher. 4.39 FIP over his last 5 and over his last 20. ERA, right around 3 in both periods as well. He's been striking out more guys than normal. lately. Almost 25% K rate over the last 5, 21.4 over the last 20. I think Lugo's too good of a pitcher not to consider him at 8,700 in a spot that I actually think is okay. This Braves offense hit yesterday, but they are a little boom bust and they can strike out. I'm in for some Lugo. There is some upside in the matchup with him being able to just work efficiently and deep into games. And the Braves can have games where they're just striking out a ton. So I'm fine getting to some Lugo. And then lastly, we got Gas Can Corbin, Patrick Corbin, 7,700, 4.18 FIP over his last 20, 2.76 over the last 5. This is another spot where the game total is 9, but I'm willing to get some of him. I gotta say that I would much prefer Kikuchi over Corbin. I think Corbin 7,700 is kind of pricey, but the guy has been hitting pretty well, and Angels struggle versus lefties and strike out a ton. There is a slim chance of a Cy Corbin day, and if he's able to get 6-7 Ks and go 6 innings, then there's absolutely a chance for him being optimal at that price. Don't mind getting a little bit. Not going to go overboard. On to FanDuel, high owned. We got Fried, Glasnow. Those two should be high owned. Verlander's at 7,500. He is cheap. He's in a decent spot. His FIP well above the ERA. I think he's due for some good luck here. I don't love him though. He hasn't been that efficient, hasn't been working deep into games, but we know he can. The K rate's also low. The ceiling is kind of low for him, but at 7,500, if he can go 45-ish, it probably pays off, and all you really need is Luzardo, Glasnow, Fried to fail, and there's the chance. You also need the, big-time ceiling guys like Giolito, Kikuchi not to totally come through to give up a couple runs. And then there's that clear path for Verlander. I don't love the play. If you want to play it, you can. If I get a little bit of it, I'm going to be all right. Luzardo, 9.8K, definitely have some interest with the lower ownership. Sonny Gray at 8.9K with his ceiling, I am all in for. Our projection likes him too. Consensus is right around, the other studs. I think he makes for a very, very interesting play over here. Now, let's get into some stacks. All right. Highest owned stacks of the day. We got Dodgers versus Nick Lodolo. Look, Lodolo is a good pitcher, but he's much worse at home, and he allows a ton of fly balls in a small ballpark versus a team that hits the ball hard. With warm, humid weather, the ball should carry a little bit. It might be a little bit of a tough one for Lodolo. I like the Dodgers. 65% owned on a 12-game slate is not high enough for me to fade them either. Phillies versus Jonathan Cannon. I'm fine having some of them versus Cannon and then a poor White Sox bullpen. High projected. A's versus Logan Evans. I'm going to probably have a lot of the A's today. Logan Evans doesn't scare me. It's nice hitting weather. I just don't think that 2 games at this small Sacramento ballpark in a row are going to go, 4 runs or lower. I expect one of those teams to get it going. Boston. Not totally sure who Minnesota's throwing out. Boston's been hot. I'm going to probably be fine getting there as long as, there's not a stud pitcher, which I don't believe there will be. White Sox, we got highest value option and Luzardo on the other side. Hey, White Sox keep hitting lefties. I'm fine getting a little bit. High ceiling option. We got the A's versus Logan Evans. We talked about that. High leverage. Cubs versus Prester. Prester's been very good lately, but Cubs offense is good. They can get to anybody. I don't mind a little bit. Not going to go overboard. Padres versus Minaya. It's another spot which I don't love. 4.8 FIP over the last 5 at least. And he's only around 80 pitches, so maybe he goes a little bit more. But that Mets bullpen is good. I don't think it's a great spot for the Padres tonight. Joe Boyle, versus the Yankees. Give me some Yankees. Even without Judge, I think they're a little interesting today. Clicking the teams tab, our high implied run totals. We got Seattle and the A's at 5.3 and 5.2. Both are super interesting. Severino is way worse at home. Seattle is going to get some ownership, but they're in a very interesting spot. I don't mind playing some of them. Philly versus Cannon, we covered. Royals, 4.9 versus Fetty. Fetty has been poor lately. 10.22 FIP over his last 5. Sign me up for some Royals. It's nice hitting weather there. Dodgers versus Lodolo, where he's way worse at home. I am absolutely interested. They could hit some home runs. Yankees also. It's not often that I'm all in on the top 6 implied total stacks, but I am absolutely doing that today. A's and Texas, I think, are both interesting. Both pitchers can give it up, but also can be very good. I'm going to use them sparingly. It's in an okay offensive park. Braves versus Lugo, don't love the spot. Boston, I think, is very interesting. Houston is a boom-bust spot. If they can get to Soroka and get into that bullpen early, there's big-time upside. Boston, also boom-bust spot versus Giolito, has plenty of interest. And then if we go down here, St. Louis versus Alcantara. Very low implied total of 4.1, but Alcantara has been way worse away and he's got blown up in some games, so I have some interest even though he's all the way down there. Luzardo, there should be some leverage, and the bullpen behind Luzardo isn't all that great. White Sox have been hitting well. There's a path. And that's going to do it for us today, guys. Hope you guys have a good one. We'll be back with more tomorrow. Talk to y'all later. Peace. Please like, comment, and subscribe.